Hi guys, it's Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab. I'm so glad to have you back visiting our channel today. On our channel, along with my husband Chris, we do thrift store flips. We take thrift store items that I have found and we give them new life. And here on our channel, we share the process and our vision with you all of how to update and give these items some much needed love. So in today's video, I am going to share with you some Lazy Susan flips. So these are some makeovers. So in our area, what I am looking for when I'm out thrifting are items that sell. So far, Lazy Susans are still selling in our area. So I am just so happy every time I stumble across one. Now, I had quite a hoard of Lazy Susan's trays and risers that needed to be done and get ready for the summer season in our booth. So I'm going to separate this into 3 different videos, 3 different weeks. So it's summer. I want you all to have a lot of fun. I don't want you to have to spend an hour watching one of my makeover videos because, I probably share way too much information, but that's just how I am. So today's video is going to be the Lazy Susans. So stay tuned for what I do to these Lazy Susans. And these are actually simple flips. These were good Lazy Susans. They were in good shape. I just gave them a little something just to get them ready to resell.
Here's why. Look at this grouping. This was such a large grouping and this isn't even all of them. That's why I said I was going to separate this into a couple different videos. So I'm super excited to flip all these Lazy Susans. And actually this video is going to be the real wood ones where I just need to clean them up, sand a little bit off, give them a little bit of a makeover. So this is a fun video to share. And then these cutting boards were actually a Dollar General find and I actually picked up 4 of them. So we just need to add some detail to those. This Lazy Susan is in perfect condition. All I need to do is just add a little bit of detail to it to make it pop in our booth a little bit more. And then these were also another Dollar General find for $6 a piece. Look at perfect bamboo shape. And that's coming up in another video. So you know me, I'm going to start right off with taking all the tags off. And I find the easiest way with these tags on this wood item is just take the heat gun, put a little bit of heat to it, and then it releases that sticky. I'm going to be removing any of the thrifted stores price tags and any other kind of tag that might be on any of these. If you remember that Lazy Susan from my thrift with me that had kind of chunks out of the side, I got into our hoard. Yep, this is our hoard of handles. And I thought, why not put a little bit of handles on there? It just has that weirdness, but it's still a Lazy Susan, so I couldn't pass it up. Since this one needs sanding, I'm going to go ahead and remove the 2 pieces. Thank God we can remove these 2 pieces. At first, when I first started flipping Lazy Susans, I didn't know they were removable. So that was not a fun paint job, to say the least. But this piece of plastic is permanent. It will stay there. I'm only worried about sanding the top of it. That way, if I take that off, then there's no reason for it to be having spinning around while I'm trying to sand it. So my guess on these pieces of wood, that they were probably that cheese dome, that cloche, and the glass was either sold separately or it was broken, but I'm super excited to find any kind of wood that we can make into risers. So Chris is going to go ahead, while he has the time, to put some of these legs that I got in from Lowe's in a 2-pack for less than $3. And since it's a round object, there's no need to have 4 unless you want. And so just 3 legs on a round object like this to keep it level is perfect. So if you're wondering why Chris has a piece of tape on his drill bit and you have not seen this before, that way he does not drill all the way through the piece of wood. That piece of tape goes up to the same length as what the screw is on that little leg that he's going to be putting on there. Now I'm just going to give them a nice cleaning just with some Superclean and some hot water. Just wipe on, get any of that grease, grime, whatever is left behind. These are thrifted items. You just don't know what's behind. And then let them thoroughly dry before moving on to painting. To give these a little something for some new life, just brighten up that wood. It doesn't really need to be restained per se, as it just needs to be freshened up a little bit, probably just from water washing them. So I'm just using that Waverly antiquing wax, the watered down mixture, and then just wiping it off. And you can tell the one with the cutouts on the side, when I sanded it, it just was some weird sanding going on. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go with it. I don't envision this piece being painted. I want to leave it natural, so it's just going to be that perfectly imperfect. When I was looking for those birds, the dollar birds at the Dollar General, here were these beautiful cutting boards. Now, I'm pretty sure these should be only decorative because there is no finish on these whatsoever, and they're a very sharp wood, but they will make a nice decor piece. So if you know my love of grain sack striping, yep, I'm going to start right off with my skinny tape. I believe it's a 1/2-inch tape, and then I'm just centering it all the way down that handle just to give it a little bit of pop of something. So I'm going down in the middle. I'm really just eyeballing this because it's not necessarily, the sides are not flat at all. So eyeball it is. When I tried to measure it, it was like, well, this isn't working out very well. So, yep, another one of those perfectly imperfect, but just give it a little bit more something than just this beautiful wood color. I'm just going to go in and butt up another piece of tape on either side, on the left and the right side of it, and then remove that middle tape. That's where my first paint stripe is going to go. Now I'm just going to keep this stripe flat, so as you see I did tape off the top and the bottom, so I had a stopping point. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the Waverly chalk paint in the white, and I'm just using one of those dab applicators. I'd probably just be going over this 1-2 times. It'll have a little bit of a texture. Like I said, I believe that this would just sell as a decorative piece. This is a really soft wood. It's not a great finish. Hopefully I will make it a little bit tougher by the time I'm done with it, but boy, was it a cute shape and a color. I'll see how my coverage is by using the heat of a heat gun to dry the paint to see if I need another coat or not. Yep, definitely one more coat. When you're doing that dabbing technique where you don't have a lot of paint on there, it doesn't always, one place has more paint than the other, so just going back through one more time. Nice thing about not doing this on a painted surface is I don't have to worry about the tape pulling off my paint. So now for my smaller stripes that I'm going to put on each side, I'm going to start it off and I'm going to do the masking tape, the regular size masking tape. I believe it's like 1 inch. I never really measure. I'm just always guesstimating what the size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all the way over onto one side where it's running against the paint. And then that'll give us a little bit that's on the wood to give us a little bit of gap in between our next stripe. And then now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So that's why I like masking tape, because you can see through it. So I see exactly where that paint is, and that's where I can put that tape and just eyeballing, running it down the paint, and then just tapping it over. See, I just love masking tape because you can see through it. So now this is the fun of grain sack striping. I can make that secondary stripe as big or as little as I want to. So you just eyeball, same thing, you're just putting that piece of tape down and trying to make sure that it's centered and lined up, and you have the same space from top to bottom as you do to middle. So whatever you do to the one side, then you turn around and you do to the other side. So how many of you all, when you're looking for your Waverly paint at Walmart, have run across these $5 stencils? I think they're $4.97. Oh my goodness. I'm like, yes, please get in my cart. There was 2 different patterns. I was super excited to find these. For somebody who always makes stencils out with my cutting machines, it is nice to have something that's a little bit simpler to use. Not that it's simple to use, it still takes time, but I don't have to spend the time cutting it out on my Cricut or my Silhouette. So just eyeballing where I want it to be. I'm going to go down with that handle again. This is a mosaic tile type. Now this one I'm definitely only going to be going over one time using that same Waverly white paint with a dabber, and I did use some of that the sticky stuff that you put on stencils that comes in the spray. Okay, I have to say that at first when I started grabbing my heat gun going, oh, I hope that doesn't melt that stencil, but it did not. It's a hard enough plastic, and I didn't put it directly onto that plastic stencil. So now I'm just going to make sure that it's good and dry before going down to finish off that bottom part. Now I am just matching up the previous stencil that I painted on trying to make sure that I'm not kicked off to one side or the other. I did not re-sticky it, so I'm going to have to hold it a little bit. I do like the sticky, it does help, but man, it's messy. So I was so excited to find these. I love that there's two different patterns of this mosaic that I do a lot of cutting out on my cutting machine. So definitely cost efficient, not having to waste vinyl. The sticky stuff, hopefully I will figure that out, how to get it cleaned off a little bit better off these reusable stencils, but super excited to find them because I know I've looked at them at Michael's before, and even with a 20% coupon, still not $5 a piece. So I told you this was going to be an easy video. How easier can you get? And stencils are already made using some adhesive spray to attach them to the pieces of wood. I'm doing all these wood items, just a couple of them even needed touched up. So just adding a little bit of detail to these to make that wood show off. I just absolutely love wood and white. I just love the two together and how it pops. So I'm using now what I consider to be a mosaic, but I also kind of considered it to be a flower. And I have to say that is one of my best sellers. These Lazy Susans sell really well for us in our retail booth, especially if I put any type of mosaic or a flower on them. So I'm just going to put one of the full ones, as you already see, and then I'm going to do another one kind of separating this almost out to thirds. And now I'm doing one that is 3/4 of the stencil on there. And then the next one that I'll be in 3 will more be like a half. Just that randomly placed visual of a set of 3 is enough for the top of this Lazy Susan. So I'm thinking that this bamboo color might look some good with some Waverly black, that ink from Waverly chalk paint. I just thought why not change it up? The lighter of the color, the more yellow. Maybe the black wouldn't make this bamboo look so yellowy. So it has a little bit smaller. You can see with my hand that this isn't a humongous Lazy Susan by any means. So I'm just using this littler flower burst and just doing the same technique. I'm just keep placing these little flowers. Some are full, some are half, some are 3/4. That's the fun. You just keep doing it until your eye likes it. Now, though I didn't mind that pattern, it wasn't as florally as I wanted it to look. So I'm like, what other different flowers does this have? And so the stencil has this longer one, but in the middle of it I see a flower. So I'm going to tape off the areas that I don't want to use on this just to get that flower in the middle. But I am still going to go in with that ink Waverly chalk paint. I just think that black and this bamboo color go together quite well. I'm going to do that same thing where I break it up in thirds first, figure out the off-centered, the full ones on there first, and then do the off-centered. It's just the fun of doing DIYs is just what you can do whatever you want. So I decided to go back to that first bamboo one that I had done. It just wasn't enough. That pattern wasn't big enough. So I thought, well, I don't want to put more of that pattern. So I'm going to go back in and do some white. So I'm going to go in and do another fold and another little portion of it just to fill this up. Now you've already seen me do the grain sack, simple grain sack striping on that cutting board. So I'm going to quick tutorial on what I'm doing on this one. I am doing the same thing, just that simple grain sack in white. I can't get enough of wood, that wood tone and that white, that almost walnut-y wood tone and just that stark white. So here's another popular little fella that I'm going to be putting on this Lazy Susan, this turntable. I'm going to be using my redesigned IC Paris stamps, and I'm going to be using that wreath bee, but I'm not going to be using the wording. The bee still is quite popular. We're going into the summer season, so You know, I don't know why my stamps do not stay sticky, so they don't stick to my, I don't know. That is if I have one frustration from washing them just with plain Dawn dish soap. They don't stay sticky, so I'm using this spray adhesive, but the only thing I don't like, it does work, but man, it makes a mess out of my mat. So I've got to stick it onto something. I guess I could freehand it, but the chances of evening it on the piece is not as easy as one thinks. So I'm just still using that chalk paint because I already have it out. I could switch over to ink. I think it works the same, but I just already have the chalk paint out. In case I touched any of the wording, I'm just going to go over with some masking tape and tape that section off so I don't accidentally get something I didn't want. So you see what I mean? It's just so much easier to be able to grab this whole vellum piece with the guides, knowing where center is to drop the stamp and release that image. Now after getting these all done, I just lightly sanded it. I didn't want to take any of that finish off, just that raised of the chalk paint, and now I'm just going to be sealing these all in with some Rust-Oleum clear matte. I'm going to do both sides, and I'm going to do 3 to 4 coats. I just want to sell these cutting boards as decorative pieces, but just in case and then for the turntables, the Lazy Susans, the same thing. Just it goes on really smooth. It's just a light mist, but it has a great coverage. Now Chris is going to go ahead and put those handles on this turntable for me only because he wanted to. So these were not original. This was something we added, if you remember the beginning of the video. Just a little something I didn't mind that cutout. It was a little bit weird to me, but having these handles just makes it look like more of a finished piece, that it was meant to be that way.
So I thank you so much for watching today's video, and what did you think? I hope that you were blessed. If you were a reseller and you stumble across a Lazy Susan and you know how to get a quick flip out of it, and if it's maybe you have a Lazy Susan laying around your home that you thought, hey, I would like to give that updated. Not only do you have to be a reseller to watch our channel, just inspired to do something in your own home. Who doesn't like something new in their own home? It just makes that little happy place. So again, I thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you are part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you are new to our channel and you enjoyed this kind of content, hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a new video. So we'll see you next time, guys.